People are going into the gym with the best intentions for their health and their body, and they're winding up feeling worse and achier and stiffer than ever. What's up, guys? This is Dr. Joe from IDPT, and today we're going to talk about why modern fitness training and gym culture is spreading this epidemic of people with back pain. Did you know that 80% of Americans will have low back pain at some point in their life? And even worse, those who get it are bound to get it again, and again. This is because modern back pain treatments work, but only temporarily. And that results in a chronic cycle of pain, then no pain, then pain, and then no pain. This is because those treatments that do work, they only work for a short period of time because they're treating the symptoms. We call them Band-Aids. What that means is you have back pain, those modern treatments like acupuncture, chiropractor, massage, cupping, needling, all of those things only address the symptom, which is the back pain, but they don't address the underlying reason or the root cause. For us here at IDPT, we focus on getting to the root cause or the actual underlying reason why you're having the pain in the first place. And so what I want to talk today about is why so many Americans have this back pain and how most of the time when you see these people, a lot of them are actually really healthy or look really healthy. And the reason is because what they're doing in the gym is what's causing the stiffness and what's causing them to feel like they're getting older and being in more pain. And that as this compounds over the years, it continues to get worse until eventually that aching kind of stiff back becomes actual pain. To understand how modern fitness training is making back pain worse, we need to understand what humans are designed to do. And what that is we're designed to rotate. Meaning, when we go for long walks, back in the days we used to be like walking through the woods and being very active. That requires us to rotate as we move. But what does a typical gym day look like? The exact opposite. We're training our bodies to get stiff and rigid, right? Think about what a typical workout looks like. Someone goes in, they stretch out a little bit, right? They focus on muscles. And then typically what they're gonna do, let's say it's a leg day. They're gonna do leg press where we get really stiff, up and down, up and down. We're gonna do some type of squat, up and down, curls, leg extensions, all things that are moving in one plane of motion. And we're focusing on trying to slowly over time increase our weights. What that results in is you getting good at that exercise, which means you're training yourself to rotate less, right? Like at a fundamental level, let's just talk about the back squat. The better we get at back squatting, which means we're getting stronger, how does that happen? Well, we teach our body to brace and to get really stiff and rigid so that the bar doesn't turn us or break us down. As we get better and better at that, that means that we're getting stiffer and stiffer. And so if our goal is only to get really good at back squatting, well, congratulations, mission accomplished. But if our goal is to be healthy and to actually feel good and feel our best, well, that's not gonna accomplish that, because if I spend an hour every day in the gym getting stiff and rigid, and then I tell my body, okay, go run, go walk, go do all these things a normal, fluid, healthy human is gonna be able to do, those two don't marry up. And so to backpack on that, rotation is the absolute most important thing, but the other thing that's really important as far as feeling your best and moving your best is understanding how the body works as a pressure canister. And what I mean by that is when we're moving, we need to be able to be fluid in our movements. And the way that we do that is by not holding our breath, but being able to have healthy breathing cycles. When we train really heavy week in and week out, the only way to get good at that is to hold our breath. And again, as we're training that, we're not rotating, so we're getting stiffer, and then we're holding our breath and increasing our internal pressure, which is also making us stiffer. So it's a twofold way of making ourselves actually worse, even though we have the best intentions of being nice and fluid, nice and loose. And so understanding that the epitome of physical health in the body is rotation-based, and it is more fluid, less rigid, less holding our breath, then we can utilize that to our advantage and change the way that we're training, or at the very least supplement our training. Now, a common question I'll get asked is, does that mean I need to go for more walks if I'm someone who likes to train heavy, whether I'm a power lifter, a bodybuilder, or just someone who goes to the gym 4+ times a week? My answer would be no, because you cannot force this rotation. Meaning, if I'm constantly training to be stiff and now I am stiff, I can't just magically become loose again by walking and rotating. I need to change the way I'm training first to create adaptations and changes in my body, and then I can utilize that with activities like walking, running, hiking, so on and so forth. So then if that is the case, how do I train in the way that I'm suggesting? Let me show you a few examples of how I would take traditional exercises and change them to be more rotation based to actually get looseness in our joints and in our muscles and to get us actually healthier again. All right, so what I wanted to do is show you guys a few of the most common gym exercises and then give you an alternative to it to show you what I'm talking about when we talk about adding rotation and fluidity to your motions. Obviously, there are about a million alternatives that we can do, but these are just some common ones that I think are going to be really applicable and can be implemented right away. So first, with a traditional back squat, like we talked about, to get really strong and to get really good at these back squats, what needs to happen? Well, one, I need to get rigid and prevent myself from rotating so that this bar doesn't turn me and hurt me. The other one is I need to get really rigid and stiffen myself up even more so that when I am standing up from the bottom, I can do that and create the pressure necessary to drive the force down through the ground and to stand me back up. And just like we talked about earlier, it's that pressure, which is the other layer of add-on to further prevent rotation. If I'm constantly creating pressure, well, we lose the ability to turn, we get really rigid. And so here's just one option of training legs where we're still creating some rotation in the body. So an alternative I'm gonna show you guys to training legs is gonna be a split squat where we're staying stationary. So I don't call it a lunge because we're not stepping into it or moving forward, but we're staying stationary. The reason this works is because if I'm loading one leg and then the other leg is back, naturally, which is the key point, naturally in the pelvis, there's some degree of rotation. The biggest point with all these alternative exercises that I'm going to show you is that we're not trying to force any type of rotation. What we're looking for is relative rotation, which means that the socket of a joint is rotating over the fixated point of a joint to a slight degree. If I just make you turn everything, that's actually not rotation, that's just turning. Again, key point is if we're talking about the hips, we are getting a bit of a rotation here. We are not getting everything to just turn, right? So essentially if I do this and then I turn everything like that, I'm not actually getting what I want out of it, it's just my body going in a different direction. So here I'm gonna show you the split squat variation, and the reason that I'm not using a barbell is because a barbell will still kind of keep me stuck here, so I can't actually get the rotation I want, it'll keep me rigid. Versus this allows me to be a bit more fluid. So I'm gonna be heavy on my front heel, meaning I'm gonna keep all my weight on my front heel, and I'm gonna drop straight up and down off the ground. I like to see you try that for about 12 to 15 reps each side. I usually like to recommend 3 to 4 sets. Another common back exercise is a barbell row. So what I'm gonna do is show you how this is making you stiff and rigid, and then an alternative to supplement and to get you back rotation. So same thing with this exercise is it forces us to arch our back, which is gonna stiffen up our back muscles, and then we stay nice and rigid and not letting any rotation happen and just going up and down, up and down. Again, if the only goal is pure strength, then it's a great option, but what this video is all about is getting rotation back in your life and getting you to feel healthier again. All right, so the variation for the rows that we're gonna use here is a 3-point dumbbell row. Now, the key point is gonna be the hand that has the weight is gonna drive straight up to the ceiling, and we're gonna get a full reach down at the bottom. But the arm that's on the bench, so I'll switch arms so you can see this, I don't wanna be here, I wanna be punched through. Because what that's gonna do is give us a little bit of stability so that when the dumbbell pulls us down, it's not pulling us down so much that we now have to brace to prevent ourselves from getting pulled so much, because then we're gonna lose the benefit of the rotation. So we're gonna keep that bench arm strong through, row up and come down. I like to go for about 6 to 8 of these reps each arm so that we're getting a good challenge, but also still getting the rotation that we want. The last one I'm gonna show is everyone's favorite exercise, barbell bench press. Same exact situation, guys. The bar is gonna fix us and keep us straight. And then the arching of our back is also gonna lock up our low back muscles, which again, is gonna make us feel strong. But if we're talking about longevity, we're talking about health, it's not gonna be ideal for us. So the bar is fixing us, not able to rotate. We have a big arch in our low back. Here's another alternative I'd recommend to get some rotation back in our rib cage. So alternative I'm gonna use are alternating chest presses. I'm gonna keep one dumbbell up so that it fixes one side so that the side that I do press gets the rotation. The other added bonus I'm gonna do is to lift your feet up. So if you have a big enough bench, you could put your feet here so your low back is flat, or you can elevate it on dumbbells or plates. Okay, so I'm gonna press both up, keep one up, come down, press up, and then switch. The reason I keep one up, it actually gives us a little bit of stability, because if I don't keep it up, what's gonna happen is that dumbbell is gonna wanna try to pull me all the way down, and so I'm gonna have to get really rigid and hold my breath to prevent myself from overturning. So we're gonna lose the benefit of the rotation. So I wanna keep one arm up and then the other one press. I like to do about 8 to 10 each arm, again for 3 to 4 sets. So what my goal was for this video is to show you and implement immediately new strategies in the gym if you're not gonna completely change your training styles, to at least supplement your training styles so that you're not constantly breaking your body down and making yourself feel older and more rigid. If you implement this stuff immediately, I guarantee you guys, you will feel looser, you won't have that chronic aching stiffness in your body, and you're gonna be making strides to getting healthy again. If you found this information helpful, please guys, like, share, and subscribe. I look forward to seeing you guys for the next video. See you soon.